Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
I know Gary's sick of that ad, but I like kind of bounce to it now, like to the beat of that tune. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. What's happening, Gary? What's happening, Kim's Side Money? What's happening, Hannibal is Hungry? And of course, our special guest with is that an MTV hat?
Of course.
Nice. Dasher
I better look at it.
Faith, or is Flex calls her accept or decline?
That's my favorite one, to be honest.
That's trademarked by me.
That's
right. That's why I was applying it, man. It makes sense.
It's funny that he calls her that because every time he says that, I go .com.
Right, because you think he's actually talking about it when really he's talking about her.
No. I know he's talking about her, but if he's gonna bring it up, I might as well plug my website too.
Bro, the first time I
what now?
Yeah, you cut all that on that, Faith.
It's all right. Yeah, we may have to.
Okay, I guess there is a lag. I will steal the Ethernet if it. I was just saying, Flex has been calling me that from day one. Day one. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. You guys just talk about your shopping bags or something. I don't know.
Well, let me say hi to whoever is here yet. I see 12 people watching, but let me say hi to whoever's here. So, hey, Tommy, what's up? Hi, Kim. Hey, Thomas, what's up? Mac, what's up?
If I was an Ethernet, where would I be?
Bud Soda, what's up? Hey, Hannibal.
What's up? What's going on?
Oh.
And Roy, what's up, Roy? So yeah. And Bruce, what's up, Bruce Turner?
That's the first time I've seen Bruce in here.
No, he was in here earlier this week. Even
I know he's in here for the Maximo one. But
no, I mean this week he was in here Monday, I think. Yeah.
Oh well, I wasn't here on Monday.
I know. Well, he was.
Well, good for him.
Because I remember he was participating in the conversation actually at the end. He was part of what we were talking about. Yeah, Bud Soda's already into dual stacks. Who are you talking to yourself? Wait, we haven't even gone anywhere yet.
Dual stacks.
I think he was on a triple.
Is it still bad?
Turn the engine down. Put it on idle for a minute. We'll get there. Oops. Hi, Lisa. What's up? How are you? Faith, it looks like you're all good now. Yep.
I'm hoping so. Could you guys?
Looks good to me. I don't know. Everybody else? Yeah, we're streaming good.
Yeah, she's up and running.
Okay. All right. So a few things to talk about tonight, obviously. And they're actually pretty big things. There's actually more stories out there too. Sometimes, I'm like really, really digging, but there's some pretty out there stories, and like the first one, I think Kim, you should hit on yours first. Because I think the other two, the one Gary's going to talk about and the one I'm going to talk about are really dark, and we'll try and find a happy way out of them, I guess, because they're dark.
Mine's actually somewhat happy, so we'll start with that first. So DoorDash announced that they're actually adding new features to their app for users and for restaurants, which I actually think they're going to start to add a rating system so customers can rate restaurants. They can add comments and reviews. So so on and so forth. And then they can also thumbs up or thumbs down some of the items that they've purchased from different restaurants, which I find very interesting. My thing with all of this, though, is I feel like the mom and pop restaurants might get lost in the mix, because if you go to like a really popular chain restaurant, just by reviews and reviews alone, they're gonna automatically get more, which it looks like they're gonna also have like a top 10 like restaurant list too, which means will they ever get to the top status, and will they ever get orders? So will our restaurants become busier and the mom and pop restaurants get a little lost? That was my only concern when I was like really reading the article. And they said, yeah, there's basically a top 10 base. It's going to be based on ratings and order volume, and that's how they're going to rate the top 10 list in your area. So that was just kind of my thoughts when I was reading some of the features that are coming to DoorDash.
So that's not for drivers though. That's more for users.
That's for the customer.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a useless feature.
I was talking about this earlier. Is the same. It's like Yelp. Why are you integrating Yelp into DoorDash? Like I just don't get it. I guess I don't get what it's going to help. What I mean, like, let's forget about what it could hurt. What's it going to help?
When I was reading this, the only thing I think of is when people rate anyone, whether it's a driver, a restaurant, I feel like you're only going to get the negative feedback. You're never going to get the positive, because if someone has something missing or they have a bad experience, I'm going to go on to DoorDash and bash whatever restaurant gave me the wrong thing. Like, I just feel like you're only going to get the negative, and really are you going to get the positive and reality of what these restaurants are like from, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of.
But knowing DoorDash though, they're not going to do anything with that data. Like it's literally just going to be kind of like a pay to move up the ladder type thing, you know. I mean, I can't see them, because like we decline now. We have decline reasons. How many times we don't want to go to that store, and here we are 2 years later still getting requests for that same store. So I don't see them even doing anything with it. I think it's a useless feature. They could have just left it out of their app. They could have used that time better somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess one of my things too is why would you use it? Unless they're going to do like some kind of, hey, do this and we'll give you $5 of, like, what's the, I mean, I was asking this on Tuesday in the Long Island Dash experience. Both Lou and Mary both thought, no, people will do it. People like to rate things. And I was like, really? Because they can't even go back on the app to tip or do anything. Like, they're going to go back to the DoorDash app to write up on a restaurant review or an item review.
How easy though is it? Because like I was using Uber Eats recently as a customer, and I had ordered food, and they really, at least on Uber Eats, they actually don't make it too easy to go back in. Like, I had to go through several pages just to rate my driver, because I know what that means to them, so I wanted to do it. So I'm wondering how I've honestly never really used DoorDash as a customer. I've always preferred Uber Eats, but I'm just wondering how easy they make it to go back in there, you know?
Well, Faith, glad you asked that question, because I
Of course.
ordered DoorDash earlier today. Now, I did not get it delivered. I pick it up because I was running around all day. So I'm looking at it. It says rate your order. Now, you're right. I think a lot of customers won't rate, because I didn't. I only even went back because of this story. So I'm looking at it. Again, I don't know if you guys are able to see this. So it says, rate your pickup. I don't know if you guys are able to see this. My thing is so bad. So it says, rate your pickup, review the store, and you can decide to make a public review or private feedback. So if I'm running a business, if I'm running a restaurant, small business, I would like to know if I'm doing well or not. So and again, a small business, I understand like McDonald's is going to get a flood of bad reviews, I'm assuming. Do they care? Yeah, probably not. But if I'm running a store and someone can tell me something is happening, either it's late or it's cold or something along those lines, I can say, hey, DoorDash, you're not helping me out. The couriers are either coming in, they're taking too long, or something could be adjusted on my end. And also the customers, they like to, I think there are people who do like to rate things. They really want to, especially make it about themselves and write long, crazy reviews. I think Yelp is the reason why that it exists. But I understand Gary's point where Yelp will basically bully small businesses to try to pay to say, hey, listen, you want your business to be on top of our blah, 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 and you want all these reviews. Well, you got to pay, certain tier systems. They do it all the time. It's possible DoorDash may do the same, but I look at it as more of a positive necessarily than a negative in terms of customers able to rate, and hopefully the restaurants can do something about it, or at least if there's something going wrong, that they can figure it out.
Well, sorry.
I just think DoorDash majority of the time always takes lots of info, but we never hear from it ever again. So what info are they really going to get out of this, and how, are we ever going to hear any feedback? Are we ever going to hear any ratings? I just feel like they're notorious for doing that.
Mm-hmm. My question is how many of you guys order because of the ratings? Like whenever you open an app or go to order something online,
never.
Do you go, oh yeah, I want Mexican tonight. Oh wait, Olive Garden has a 5-star rating. Let me order there.
Right.
I look at ratings, yeah.
Well, you might look at ratings if it's a new restaurant.
Yeah, it depends on if it's a new restaurant.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at something on an app and it's a new restaurant, you're like, oh, what is this? You're going to look at reviews. You're going to look at ratings. But if it's somewhere that you already order, like if you want McDonald's and Burger King has a 5-star, McDonald's has a 4-star, you're going to still order your McDonald's.
I would say, for fast food stuff.
Yeah.
But I look at reviews for almost anything I buy. So I don't know if that's unique. But
let me say this: the Amazon. If I want to, I absolutely look at reviews on Amazon. If I go to Yelp, that's pretty much the only reason you go to Yelp is to look up reviews.
Yes, for Yelp. Okay,
I'm about to get some food. But let me see some ratings.
For example,
that's when you're searching for the restaurant.
Right.
If you're getting on to DoorDash or Grubhub, you're probably got in your mind already, okay, you've probably already got the whole family's order. You're ready to roll. You're not going to, like Gary said, you're not going to be like, wait, Olive Garden, let's scratch this whole plan and call them. You're just going to go through with whatever a top 10 is. Though I only see this as maybe they're starting to try and figure out, who's, where all these orders are being dropped and why, which of these restaurants is lagging, which of these restaurants doesn't deserve the priority, or,
But is this where mom and pop restaurants are going to get lost because they're not going to have the same popularity that a Chili's does or an Olive Garden does, or, they're going to get so many reviews just because they get more traffic. Whereas you go to a regular restaurant, a mom and pop restaurant, they're not going to get reviewed as often. And according to the article, they're going to base it off of the amount of reviews that the restaurant's getting and the ratings. So are all these restaurants going to get lost in the mix? I don't know about you, but I like to support my local restaurants when I can. And that's my thing when I'm ordering. I try to support as many local restaurants as I possibly can.
Now, I just feel like the input, if they're, trying to look at the data on why certain restaurants, their orders are getting dropped or something, or why it's, so bad over there, I just feel like it'd be way more valuable for them to actually give us some option to rate the restaurant, not just that BS algorithmic, why you dropped it, but actually taking our input from it, because most of the time the customer is just going to blame the driver, not the restaurant. They're just going to blame it on the driver.
Now, Hannibal, whenever you went, you had to reopen your app though to get that rate the store, right?
Because I haven't ordered DoorDash since maybe last week or so. So I didn't even know this is something even new. So
because whenever
if it was the story wasn't, you guys weren't talking about it, I wouldn't even, because they do send, after you get your food, they send you another notification. Hey, how was the order? And I just ignore it. But talking to you guys, I saw it and I clicked it. So most people probably won't even go back to because you're eating. I already finished the food. You know what I mean? But
yeah. See, with Uber, I use Uber Eats because I don't know, I hate DoorDash. And I know as soon as I get the order, they give me this big drop down half screen banner that tells me rate the driver, rate the store, and it's all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you've ever used Uber Eats instead of DoorDash, but it's a big old banner. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'll rate right away just because it's a big, huge banner with the face of the person that delivered my food. So but I mean, back to what Kim was saying, I think they could have probably spent their time wisely somewhere else rather than just putting Google or Yelp into their app.
Yeah, that just makes no sense.
Well, you're right.
Whatsoever.
I think, Gary, what you said before about maybe DoorDash trying to add something to get some of these restaurants to, be put on that top 10 or whatever the, list.
Well, and that could be it too, is like restaurants might be reaching out to them going, hey, why are we not getting orders?
Yeah.
Because I know whenever I open mine, it defaults to like fast food most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then like every now and then they'll have some kind of promo restaurant at the top or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit of a, but I worry about what Kim said too. Like if it's based on rating, like amount of ratings and your ratings, like that just means McDonald's is going to be at the top. That just means that number 2 is going to be, they're just going to be the 10 most ordered places. Like what about the mom and pop unique places? Like I already know, I don't need a rating on McDonald's. I've been there. I know what they serve. I know what I'm gonna get.
It's like with the percentage they already take out for mom and pop, they're honestly not even doing them any favors to begin with. So why, like, they definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, they already aren't helping them at all.
Well, but mom and pop still choose to be there. I mean,
yes,
except for on Grubhub, where sometimes they just put you on their.
But aren't they also like just taking
against
advantage?
Your approval? Even like, no, we don't want to be on it.
Yeah, like, exactly. Well, that and then the people that really have no other options, they like need this delivery, and then DoorDash or Uber Eats takes advantage of that market, and charges them an exorbitant fee just to be on their platform. But they need to be.
I don't know. Mom and pop food is good. Like some of those restaurants that you don't think about, like their food is good. Like they should be like to me the top of the list just because their food is that good.
I'm looking at DoorDash app right now. So they have several like categories. It says most saved by people nearby, and they have like some restaurants championship deals. I guess that's because of sports or something, that name, whatever. But it has most popular local restaurants, most ordered dishes near you. So they're trying to find things that you would like, and I think I think it would be beneficial to bring all different types of restaurants to your phone, not necessarily saying the top is McDonald's and Burger King, and like they already know those are very popular. So it would be smart for them to bring other types of food or things you're into to the phone. So I'm not necessarily thinking it's all negative with this one. Is it, could it be improved? Like, what Gary said, can it be other things? Could it be done instead of doing this? Sure. But I think, we should have more control on the driver's end, of course.
Couldn't it just be like, I'd even be happy with like here's the top 5 in your area. Here's 5 places you might want to try underneath it based on places you've liked, or like if you're, who knows, like I don't know how you do with something like McDonald's, you recommend a real burger instead of McDonald's.
You mean like
here's a really good burger place.
You know how Netflix has that top banner? It's like, top 10, and then underneath that is like popular, and then something else.
Yes, like that.
Yeah, that's how they should do it.
Like make it like Pinterest. Like I don't know whether you guys do Pinterest, but when you first sign up for Pinterest, you put like kind of like your top 5 categories that you're interested in, and then they kind of base your search based off of that. So why can't you put like the top 5, eating categories you're interested in, Italian, Chinese, whatever.
That's a good point.
Is there
more than 5
restaurants based off of it, so it's more personal?
Yeah.
Is that a thing, Gary? Can that happen?
Well, I'm trying to think of 5 different food categories.
But you know what? They know what you like, because I order a lot of burritos, and they show
Chinese,
they show
Italian,
5, 6
Mexican,
burrito places. So they kind of know, like, it's just like Netflix. They know.
Yeah, now
what-
you're stuck, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
stuck.
someone actually made a good point. They talked about, or Max said, the virtual kitchens, and I feel like to what Hannibal said too, they know you want to see new stuff, and that's why like some of these bigger companies that are already established will make these virtual kitchens, sign them up on Uber Eats or
Yeah,
whatever,
good point.
and you're like, oh, I just found this new burger, but it's literally the same. Yeah, it's
Same
just
burger.
You know, the best feature I think that they could add in any of the food apps that they could add is when we hit the back button on checkout. Like, hey, if you order, we'll give you 25% off. Because I put in my order, I'm like, oh no, back, delete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, first of all, while we're still here, is that I wonder what I just wonder, like, what, even if like something like Kim said, like where it's kind of trying to get new people, like, or new interests, like, oh, you like Chinese food, how are you going to get that to people before they get to the app to order? I feel like by the time people open the app, they're sure of what they're doing. Again, it goes back to that, like, you've already compiled the rooms order. If you have like 10 people over for a football game, you've got this thing down on paper, whatever, you're ready to make an order. You're not like, hey, everybody, want to scrap all this and try this new place? And I know I don't have a menu on it. And it's suggesting it over what we're picking. So, I would think one of the things that might be huge, maybe it's just me, would be a time thing too. Like, hey, you're ordering from Five Guys. That's going to take an hour. These are taking 15 minutes right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could do that Netflix type thing to where, the top row could be like, less than 15 minutes, or next one, food places nearest you, and, next one after that, newest restaurants in your area, something to that feature,
I love the super lazy Netflix answer, the surprise me. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Have you tried it though?
It never works.
Like, I've never tried it. I'm like, no, because I don't want them to put on something I really don't want to watch. Because I'm one of them people, if I start watching it for like 3-4 minutes, I have to finish it. It could be a terrible show. I got to see how that episode ends. Just do or movie
right. Or
if
you just watch more than a minute, they're going to start suggesting more crap like that, whether you liked it or not. So, I don't know. I guess I'll have to start trying. You can always create new profiles.
Does
I'll just create a testing
surprise
profile.
me.
I would just think surprise me. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but either I would hope they don't pull out of what you've already watched, for one.
Oh, you know what? The food apps could do that too. You could put in amount. Okay, I want to spend less than $25. Surprise me.
I got five people and $60.
Like
surprise me.
Wouldn't it be funny if they had like a wheel and you had to like spin the wheel whenever Lana?
God. Hey, yeah, they could add a surprise me in there.
I mean, there's a whole business to be had
I
taking
would
the
use
leftover food that people leave behind.
Yeah, I would do for
food.
Like if they had a surprise me feature for food, I would definitely use it. Like, let me input amount I want to spend, including fees and tips, and I'll hit surprise me. You just send me
surprise you with the half-star Chinese restaurant.
What if you get like fish head soup?
I'll eat it.
Oh god! Hey, don't be hating on no fish heads.
Hey, just make sure you send some white rice with it.
Ooh,
and some lumpia if you could.
Right. So now you have things, and what if they don't come? Now you have standards on your surprise me.
Surprise me.
That's gotta be. Can you imagine having fish head soup in your car? Oh god.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna see if anybody has it in my area, and I'll order it. See if someone actually picks it up.
I don't know why, but Indian food is the one that I hate putting in my car. Like, I can deal with the fish, but I don't know what it is. I just cannot do.
Indian in my car. I haven't eaten Indian food in a long time, but when my dad was alive, he used to, every time I used to go to one, he's like, "Are you stupid?" He's like, "Do you know that 1 in every 2 people that go to an Indian restaurant die?" I'm like,
oh gosh,
what?
It was just it was a joke.
How are they dying?
But he was
That's
just
my
like,
question.
dude. I think there was a couple in where I grew up, and he was just like, dude, I cannot believe the health standards they don't meet. And I was like, you're being very specific and picky. You know, you're really taking it out on a community that doesn't deserve it.
Fried Brussels sprouts. Yum, dude. Yum. I love Brussels.
So, Gary, you want to take us into the dark trenches?
Yeah, since we're talking about cars and what we'll put into them. Okay, we all know about the autonomous vehicle. They've been around for a while. We've talked about them a few times. And for me, I thought, we read about 2018, the autonomous vehicle, the lady was in the car, the beta tester, or whatever you want to call her, was in a car and it ran over somebody that was crossing the road.
And oddly, before you even go forward, they refer to her as the driver. I don't like that either. That's just another play.
That's why I said the person in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
And we've talked about this several times. But I thought this was over and done with. I didn't even know this was still a thing until you posted the link on it. But apparently, who would you guys, before I even continue, who do you think would be at fault in that incident? Does everybody know about it, for starters?
This is the 2018 where the person was killed in Phoenix.
Right.
Going
down the road, the guy was crossing, I think, with his bicycle. The autonomous car did not brake, ran him over and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
It was an Uber vehicle. Who do you think was at fault in that? The driver or Uber?
What was the driver doing? Did he have his eyes closed?
And again,
was he just watching
that
in
term
fear?
driver, Gary's using very loosely.
Well, I'm very loosely terms driver because the car was actually driving.
It's because it's an autonomous car. So this was just a steer or a.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. Never mind. I was thinking of another one.
I mean, I guess the best thing. Would you think that Uber would be at fault being sued and prosecuted, or would you think that the driver would be?
Couldn't you do both? Because the driver knew what she was doing with the beta testing, and then Uber, because they're the ones who actually invented the technology behind it.
You would think that it would be probably 50-50, just depending on what actually happened. But you would think that Uber would be at fault.
If I would think that, though. I mean, to be honest,
say, if anything, I would choose Uber over the person. But
I thought Uber. I thought they settled this and they were done with it and everything. Like, I didn't even know it's still ongoing. Apparently, it's still ongoing. And the thing is Uber isn't even being pursued. They're not being charged anything by Phoenix. They're putting it. Uber released a video. We've seen the video. The driver is looking down at a screen. And then
before you get there, let's even get to the dirt of it, though, too, because what you're about to tell is bad enough. But Phoenix is Maricopa County, and Maricopa County has done so much work with Uber, taking to testing. This is the kind of thing we've talked about a lot on here. Taking to testing facilities. Are they too big to fail because they work with these cities? They had done so much with Maricopa County that Maricopa County decided we can't prosecute this case. We do business with Uber. Literally, like their car killed somebody in Maricopa County, and the county of Phoenix said, we can't deal with this because we do a lot of work with Uber and they give us a lot of free rides. So we can't prosecute this case. And they pushed a county over that didn't really know how to deal with it either.
Well, and some of that is because of the video that Uber released. They released an in-cab video and the driver was looking down at a screen. And they basically said the driver was not paying attention like they were supposed to for the vehicle. That's what they released and everything like that. So
not even part of the training
that she was watching a TV reality show.
Right.
If she didn't do that and saw the bike, she'll be able to take control of the car and brake.
Well, theoretically,
first of all, we're all a little here's I think Gary's going to get to the part, but
sure.
Theoretically, yes. But what it came down to is there was a TV program on in the car. She was not watching it. She was listening to it. And the actual screen that she was watching in the video that they released was a communication device directly to Uber that was used to communicate between the drivers in the car and the Uber testing team or whatever, communication team or something like that. That is what she was looking at. And as I was reading through the story, it is actually more complex because Uber has some rules that she couldn't interfere with the car for certain things unless the car alerted her to a danger or she felt the need of danger, basically. So it's kind of like if, you're running a chainsaw and you don't think that there's any danger and then the tree falls the other way, but your boss told you keep going, even though you was like, hey, is this correct? Well, your boss told you keep going. So who's at fault? You or your boss?
Well, if she obeyed their instructions, and even if she could, like, did she even have any idea, even if she wanted to, like, how, to control the car and stop it like that, I guess?
So she had two means of she admitted to, because they really tried to throw her under the bus when this went over a county over and came back. They were like, even Uber went to the prosecutor. I even have a couple things written down here, but Uber went to the prosecutors and said, okay, so Maricopa County sent it to Yavapai County, determined Uber not at fault, went back to Maricopa County. The recently absolved Uber gave prosecutors information which led to the indictment of Rafaela Vasquez. She was the test driver in the vehicle at the time. Uber led prosecutors to believe that Vasquez was watching a TV reality show. Now, Vasquez admitted that she was listening to a TV reality show that was musical based. So she was listening to it, and it wasn't just TV. It was musical based. And every time they showed the video was a little screen, but you couldn't see what was on it. That screen is the control screen. And every angle they have
the car
on her,
too. For the car
is watching the control screen like she's supposed to be doing.
Right. It says here that it was a display for developers and test drivers to interact and control automatic braking, training, rules, and other factors of the car.
But try telling the poor family of this person who got killed that, oh yeah, by the way, we don't know who's at fault. Like, try being that family of, great, well, that doesn't bring my loved one back. Like, I guess I'm thinking of it from like an emotional side of the family who lost somebody. Like,
I'll be mad at everybody. Like, it wouldn't be even the idea of who I'm more mad at. Like,
okay, so perfect example though. Like, okay, so right, you'd be mad at everybody. So first of all, first thing is you'd be mad that an autonomous vehicle that we absolutely know is not in working shape. It should not be on the roads.
Yeah.
Half of its parts work at 80% efficiency. And there's a lot of things that make it things not work. So you've got a control center being able to see out of the car. You've got the lady in the car, and they didn't pick up on this person at night. So when it hit the person and killed it, my first question is, why is this car on the road? This is always my question with autonomous. Why is it out there? There's live people. What are you doing?
And why is it at night too? Why is it out there at night? If you know there's an error in your system, do not put it out at nighttime, because people ultimately are out at night, as we see in this incident.
But so now they're basically trying to figure out what to do. Here it is, 4 years later. They haven't paid out the family anything. And Uber's literally trying to throw her under the bus. She said she was listening to it. Uber literally put out a statement that she was watching her TV, or watching her phone and watching TV. And she had to go back, and they're now saying that she can prove, no, I wasn't watching TV. She actually had her phone out of sight of the camera. She was watching the control screen. So no matter how this plays out, I would think this is going to be a huge strike against autonomous. I don't see how it couldn't. How are you not going to like go, okay, enough of this autonomous BS?
Well, not only that, but like I don't think it'll stop autonomous. I just don't. I think that
but like stop them from being on the damn road.
Well, no, what I'm thinking this will do is put in an infrastructure and laws against them, saying, hey, if your car hits and kills somebody, you're at fault. I mean, you have to, whether there was a test driver in there or not. Like I've said this plenty of times, that person behind the wheel, they're not the designer of that car. That's like me giving Faith a pad saying, hey, hit one of these 5 buttons if something happens. She doesn't know anything about the car, how it's programmed, what it's supposed to be doing. All these developers should have been in that car. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They should have until it was 100%.
That's I mean, that's why Tesla has so many freaking safeguards. And when this technology was coming, to the masses, this moral question was asked: who is at fault if an autopiloted car hits somebody? Who is at fault? This question has been asked so many times. They haven't made any laws for it. They just danced around it and talked about it, but no one's actually.
I mean, even Teslas, you could get around it for a while. We always joke about all these people that have gone to bed in the Teslas and died or whatever, or been on the highway and it gets up to 90 and
there's one thing though for the driver to go around the safeguards of the vehicle. Like my car has auto driving. It does require me every 5 minutes to put my hands back on the wheel or whatever it is, if I'm not doing it. But I could literally take a silicone hand and put it on there and it would know no difference. But if my car wrecks, that's now my fault because I went around the safety guidelines of that car.
But there could be easy lawsuits about, no, I didn't. No, I had my hand. But Tesla changed the whole thing to be that you do have to have your face in live time.
Well, Tesla actually goes off. They go off of face and hand now. It's just not hands. Like my car's just hands. So, but Tesla actually goes off face, and if you look like you're looking down, they'll alert you too.
But do you ever wonder that Uber purposely put these people in these cars so they didn't have to claim liability if something like that happened? And they're just passing liability. Like it's their way of saying, okay, well, I put someone in the car, so if something crashes, nope, not us, it's the person in the car. Like they're putting liability on someone else besides themselves.
That's what they're trying to do. I mean, you can have autonomous vehicles, but autonomous does not mean that the driver should just not pay attention anymore. That's not what it means. And so by requiring like my hands on the steering wheel, that means that I have to pay attention to the car. And my car it actually has, it gives me a summary report of how alertive I am whenever the car is self-driving. So, I don't know if it tracks my eyes or what it tracks exactly, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible for it because the car has the feature, yes, but I should not rely on that feature. Like if something goes wrong, I need to be paying attention.
I'm trying to think about it in terms of the, air travel industry, right? The idea that you have a pilot, there's a lot of equipment and stuff like that. Something may go wrong, but they're trained enough to go through a checklist of things and they're especially trained for this type of thing. I'm wondering, like you said earlier, Gary, about laws being very, very strict on trying to make sure that first we figure out, hey, who's responsible for this, and put a lot of the emphasis on the company that created the product, created the robocar, right? I think that is the only way that it gets to a point where anytime something like this happens, you may have to have like the in-depth investigation that happens when a plane crashes, right? Like, or something like that. Like it has to be something extremely stringent on the company to make sure that these vehicles are running as in the best way possible. But I guess the other problem is that there's still a person behind the wheel of this vehicle.
In this case, there
change and things they can, like I said, manipulate. So that's where the I guess the disconnect is. And I just feel really bad for that family of that person who got hit by it in 4 years and no.
Well, in this case, there was somebody behind the wheel, but it was only a tester. It wasn't an actual driver. It wasn't like my card where I would be responsible because I went around those safety features. These are cars that they want to release without any driver at all times. So they should be responsible for these vehicles.
Yeah, it's insane that I would have think them being labeled a tester would have, taken more pressure off them in the legal system going through this.
This isn't, here's one of the biggest problems, you guys, that we're overlooking is that Maricopa County decided they couldn't prosecute this case. This case should have been prosecuted in Maricopa County.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It happened in Maricopa County. It should have been prosecuted in there. However, Uber has a relationship with Maricopa County. So therefore, they called that a conflict of interest. Really, somebody died because of your non-working autonomous vehicle. So I'm sorry about the conflict of interest. Figure it out and do the court case correctly in the county it should have happened in.
And
where
how
the people there throw
be...
rocks at Waymos and Uber Autonomous and drop cinder blocks off the highways onto them because they hate these things.
Well, say I don't think it was a conflict of interest, and I know that that's what they're using. I think what it is they know that if they have a jury trial there, that it would lose. It would be impartial. Yes, exactly.
Well, a lot of the articles just straight up say, like this. I mean, it should have been Maricopa County. It doesn't matter. You got to figure out the jury. That's part of the whole legal process.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying
it should have never moved out of Maricopa County because they moved it over to a county that has no idea about all this stuff, and they kind of force fed it down their throat. Like, well, okay, now the whole thing's been skewed because people in Maricopa County, even if they're not dropping cinder blocks, they are sick of these things. So yeah, you're gonna have to get an impartial jury, and that's gonna be tough. But at least I think it would have been a more fair. I don't think this would have even been still in her hands.
I just feel like if I were the family, like I would be going after Uber just because am I going to get more, I hate to say, am I going to get more money from Uber or the person driving the car?
Well, and that's the thing. It's the same lawsuit regardless. It's like $26 million. And now they're going to sue this person who is never going to be able to pay them $26 million.
That was following the design of the car. I know Roy keeps saying in chat, it's the person behind the wheels, but the person behind the wheel. But the person behind the wheel, their job was to look at this monitor screen that was in the car.
I was just going to say, maybe we shouldn't even call it behind the wheel because they're really not behind a wheel. They're more sitting in a control station inside of a car.
Just watching.
Right. And they're watching a screen. It's not like they're watching a road. They're not in the car to watch the road. They're in the car to watch this screen for alerts that pop up. That's what they're in the car for. They're not in the car to drive it. They're not in the car to make sure it doesn't hit a curb. They're in the car to watch this screen of what Uber gave them to watch.
Right.
And I'm sorry, is there no? And I gotta hit on this. Is there no? If this was my dumb project with autonomous, I would have taken her phone from her before she went on this journey.
Right. And see,
you can't have a device in the car because I don't want that to be another factor.
Why Uber just
she should have been able to have
this monetarily? Like, just get rid of, like, okay, let's just sweep this under the rug, pay the fan. Like, why are they fighting this? Is it because just admitting any kind of fault will just destroy this venture they're doing with this, driverless cars? Like, any kind of fault, saying, yeah, this is not how we intended this to be, would destroy the entire situation, the entire business model for it. Like,
probably because they're
no matter how this ends, it's
details.
Not going to be pretty for autonomous. It doesn't matter how it plays out. They're just trying to push it as long as they can.
Yeah,
and try and get it into this Rafaela Vasquez so that she's fully responsible.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to make sure that their autonomous department does not get held liable, so no new laws come. They don't have to get extra insurance for these things. They're trying to make it to where it's like, oh, we're not responsible. Well, if she wasn't in the car and it did it, who would be responsible? Them. Right. There's no difference. She was in the car monitoring what they told her to monitor, abiding by their training. they should be responsible. Period.
But that's what Kim said. Like,
let's pass
why
some
they
laws
put
on
that
it.
person in there? Is it because if something goes wrong, they're like, yeah, it's that person's fault? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, fall guy. It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like if a drone falls out of the sky, who's at fault?
Yeah.
Right now, nobody, because we have no laws for drones. It's just a technical error. Sorry.
Well,
if you're gonna have
Amazon starts testing in Lockheed, California, which is going to be their only city, and they're working with the FAA, they're going to have Amazon written on everyone. They're going to be responsible for those.
But that's what I'm saying. But they're going to have to pass some type of law, get extra insurance or something to that nature. You can't just release things out there and be like, we're not responsible. That's not how it works.
No.
I was hoping they do that when Tesla started getting off the ground, but you know, Tesla autopilot, there was a pretty big one. It killed like both drivers inside the car on autopilot, 2 husbands that were test driving it, and they still didn't do anything.
FYI, we did look up. It is a felony to shoot down a drone,
unless you live in cool states like Colorado or Arizona.
Didn't we establish that? And then it's called expected.
Don't listen to Steve. It is still a felony.
Well, moving on past this, we really got to touch into this because Faith, it's perfect that you're on this week because I don't know if you saw this or not. Happened a couple days back, but your old state of Massachusetts, before you were here, before you were in Texas, shot down the proposition that was starting to try and keep independent contractors before
H1234.
Even before it gets the shot at becoming anything. They've decided they already did what California had the problem with. California said, it's in violation of the Constitution. We'll fight that too on the side. So they Lyft and all these others, they were already up to $16.7 million into this. And a judge shot it down and said it cannot go on the ballot. It cannot be a thing because it takes away from Uber and Lyft's responsibility in case people get hurt or accidents. So first of all, realize, Matt, if you don't know this, Faith already does, I'm sure, Massachusetts is a huge union state. And they really want this to go through. They really want unionization there big time. So that was a big blow. That's a bigger blow than anybody I know even expected in that space. Yeah. Because now it's not even being given the chance. It's being told, no. Like, forget it. You guys tried this in California. And this is what I was afraid of. This is the proof behind what's going to happen in California. California's is gone. Prop 22 was a joke. They can't afford it. It's gone. It's going to be unionized. And Massachusetts is now saying, we're not even going to go through that BS hoops. We're just going to cap it off, and we're going to go right after unionization.
Fudge. Oh.
So, I mean, it's, California, now Seattle did their thing and then tweeted out at the end with Governor Inslee and decided, okay, not just rideshare like it should have been. Let's get the food delivery in it too. It's just a joke. I mean, first of all, the California one is a joke. We all know this. It's a joke. But Seattle's now going to try this joke. The country can't keep making up the pay for these. They're actually losing money in these states. I mean, they're not making money overall ever, but they're losing. They're hemorrhaging in California now. Yeah. With no chance of even like seeing the light. There's not like some option or some great plan they're going after. They're doing the same old, and they're losing their ass, and they're trying to figure out what are we going to do next. And now Seattle's going to do it, and now Massachusetts is going to go straight after. I mean, they shot down it was the same plan as Prop 22, 120% of minimum wage, this, that, the other. They just said, nope, we're going after unionization right from the get-go.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of people with a lot of power in Massachusetts that did not like it, and they're like, that's not going to work.
But it should have the same right that the other states do to be voted on by the people.
Yeah,
exactly. People should decide, not these behind
absolutely.
the scenes.
Yeah, Warren, Healy, forgot the other person, but those were the two big players that were like right off the bat. The second it was introduced, you're like, no,
Yeah,
that does not work.
Yeah, I think whatever I was reading was saying Healy Healy was the one that shut it down.
Oh, he was? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So yeah, it's I mean, it's just a lose though. I mean, this is like now it's a lose before you even get a chance to decide.
Yeah,
I mean, in California, when they decided to let's do Prop 22 to somewhat save this while we figure it out, Prop 22 won by 3 million votes. Most people don't even know what Prop 22 was. They were voting for it just to save the independent contractors, which it ended up not doing. It didn't save any independent contractors except for the gig economy ones that were already questionable if we're actually independent contractors. You guys, I am a true independent contractor, and I can say this is a very questionable space to be these days saying it's independent contractor work, because there's a lot of factors that I'm starting to even say, you know what? I'm starting to see why a lot of people say, yeah, we're not independent contractors, because, we're not employees, but we definitely, what I do on the side outside of gig apps as an independent contractor is true independent contractorship, making proposals, making bids, dealing with companies directly, making my own decisions. None of that is true. They don't even do full transparency.
No, there's like two elements of this gig work that makes it independent, but the other 95% of it is like just not even in the same ballpark or close. It's just the illusion that you have all this control, but you really only have like one or two things you can control.
I mean, it's nice. The nicest part is being able to get on whenever you want and work any of these whenever you want. And there's always money to be made, sure. But, I mean, going down that rabbit hole, it's really sad to see a state fall before it even gets a chance to have a real vote on it.
That is really depressing, actually, man, because I was planning on moving back there in like a few years after one more year in Colorado, and that's so sad, dude.
Yeah.
It is so sad.
Not surprising. Who knows what in a few years, what other states will be up to too, because this is the kind of stuff that it's got to be stopped. Otherwise, other states look at it and go, I mean, Hannibal State's on the chopping block. Kim's is on the chopping block big time. Yeah. New Jersey's on the chopping block huge.
Didn't you say there's a federal one there? Because I know Warren was backing that one. I remember her talking about it. Yeah, the PRO Act. Yeah. No, thanks.
Right now, the PRO Act is safe because the current administration has done such a bad job with everything. And I'm not stating a political side here, guys. I'm just saying they have. In regards to this, the independent contractor fight and PRO Act, that there was a point, and I've said this before, that it almost passed, and nobody even has a clue how close it was to passing. I was in touch with a lot of these people, so I was shocked to learn how close it was. When it didn't pass, it actually has fallen hard by the wayside. And come November, when a lot of seats change, there's going to be even Democrats are going to have to step away from the PRO Act because it's so dirty and nasty and muddied up that after the elections, everybody's going to have to walk away from the PRO Act.
I hope so.
Because it would cost your what do you call your constituents? It would cost your constituents way too much money. So trying to pitch that to them would just be ridiculous. So they were trying to sneak it through, they couldn't, and now it's a whole different problem. I'm not saying one side's sneakier than the other two. They're both equally as sneaky. If they could, they would get anything by the other side, but it is what it is. And sounds like Massachusetts is going to do their own thing. And then and then New York. And that's why some of these apps, aren't like, some of these other apps to help us gig workers aren't going to certain states yet. They're waiting to see how things play out. That's and I don't know. It's crazy times because it seems like the companies could just solve it by just being transparent. It seems like it would just shut everybody up. Then you can just go, they are independent. We show them the whole order. Here's where you're starting. Here's where you're ending. Here's how many miles it is. Here's the full pay. Here's the full tip. And I just don't get it. I can do this 1,000 times. I don't get it. Why can't they do that? Because if you do that, then you are fully off. Then you're showing me complete independence. I can look at an order and go, nope, I don't want that. or yes,
Right.
I want that, and then
see,
all these
Steve,
problems
we
go
talked
away.
about that before, though. We talked about that before too. Is
Yeah, we know why.
the orders would still get picked up. That's the thing. Like even if you showed a 250 order, well, they're getting picked up now. So even with full transparency, they would still get picked up by somebody. So why not just do that? You know, I mean, yeah, you're going to have some people that cherry pick or unicorn hunt, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but the majority of stuff would still get picked up. It just
Right.
would.
That's my point. I mean, it could be half as crappy as the crappiest order right now. It would still get picked up.
This is why we have crappy orders. It's because people pick up the crappy orders.
Yeah, but
The
that's
more people
not
pick
going
up
to
the
stop
crappy
though.
orders. What?
But
Because
that's
they know
not gonna
more
stop.
people will pick crappy orders if they're just
Yeah.
guessing what they're
But
going to get.
that's why
They know
full
more.
transparency, and then let their AI learn.
Well,
a
no,
little
I'm
bit
saying
about
they don't
Kim.
want the full transparency because they, of course, they know that the crappy orders are still going to be picked up, but they won't picked up at a higher and faster volume. So they're going to keep hiding it from people because they know
See,
more people will
But
get
I
tricked.
would think
I think they would get
they
picked
would
up
learn.
faster.
They would learn Kim doesn't take crappy orders.
You think
Give
so?
the crappy orders to the other person. Yeah, they would start axing her out as don't even send them that way. She doesn't take any of them.
If it was me, I would have a rating system for each driver, and I would know who to send a $2 or $3 order to before I'd send it out to say Kim, because I would know she's just going to reject it. Why am I even wasting?
Well,
my
they never
time?
stop sending me Walmart orders, so I don't know when that technology is coming because I declined those ever since I signed on, and I still get them. So that's not working on DoorDash at least.
Well, as I said, their algorithm is not very good, but
Walmart.
There's a secret code, Faith. If you flip your phone off,
Oh, please.
it stops sending you those
you
orders.
got to do it 999 times in a row.
900. Make it stop.
And then you'll get paused like 10 more times in between. Decline, pause.
Even
Decline,
when I get
decline,
20
decline,
miles out
pause.
from the Walmart, still like, are you sure?
Well, you have an Android, right?
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah.
All you need, go to acceptordecline.com. Just
That's
saying.
right. I never even got to use your freaking app because obviously the stuff happened the second I made that video. I never even got to use it, dude.
Guess what?
Never even
No
got
more
to.
Walmarts. You won't even see them.
Oh, baby.
Yeah,
we're
they'll
about to
show
premiere
up,
on
go
tomorrow.
away.
Yeah, it's like the Walmart Eliminator. You can just be like,
Yes.
just kill
That's
it.
so true. You know what?
End
Just
Walmart.
ignore my complaints right here. We got the answer. Accept or decline.
Now I'm trying to skim through this Massachusetts thing real quick because it was behind a paywall and I had to go through all kinds of setup crap.
Dude.
So what are they doing? They're going straight to Union? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, well, basically, so like many states, AB 5 is already in the laws and we just don't know it. I don't know if like we made that clear before, but like 25 years ago, there was a National Labor Board Association that basically like most states have an AB 5 type system in place that California discovered first. And they're like, wait a minute, it's already in here. Let's just do this. And so that's how AB 5 passed so easy because they decided, wait, it's already in here.
They just
Let's
had to amend
package it up a little cleaner.
Right.
And send it out. And so that's what they did. And then other states found out, wait, we've got that same little package in here too. And so that's why the Prop 22 of Seattle happened, why they did it before the AB 5. That's why this has been trying to be funded before the November ballot to get a proposition like 22 onto there. Again, these Proposition 22s aren't solutions though. They're temporary band-aids to keep us independent contractors while they figure out a move to make it permanent. And, you know, I mean, bottom line is
quick question actually, Steve.
Yeah.
So they shot down, I'm assuming, I think it was the H1234, but it was in response to originally the first one. I forget who proposed it, but it was to turn them into employees. So did they shoot that one down as well, or just that the second one that they made in response, the gig collective, whatever?
Right. So I think it's the same thing as what happened in California. In California, because it was already in the Constitution, like nobody voted on AB 5.
Right.
They just kind of behind closed doors said AB5, came out and said, hey, January of next year, it's AB5. And people were like, what's AB5? Literally, and no joke. Most people were like, what's AB5? And you had to go look it up. And it literally, basically the definition was it will destroy every independent contractor, including especially everyone who's a true independent contractor before the gig economy. Your life is over. Bye-bye. And we're going to make you so toxic that nobody's going to work with you from out of state. We're going to make it so that you can never take care of your own business. And
opera houses.
Yeah. I mean, all the wrong people got caught in the AB5 net. Then they made Prop 22. Prop 22 can't sustain. Is this some good comments coming out from the
yeah, that's great,
right here.
dude.
I like this one.
Oh no, that's just so. How can you just?
Because it's right, because Prop 22 will never last. It cannot last. It cannot sustain. No. And they're literally I mean, at least, I hate to say we're going to see what the unions do, because it's not going to be that far off before the unions do what they're going to do in California. And I've been talking to a lot of people off the camera too, and off the podcast and everything about what's really happening there. And it's very scary. It's very scary what's going to happen to California first. But I guess it's not shocking either.
I feel like it's important too to remember, or at least this is just my view on it. I feel like they don't actually care about like our rights or anything, actually helping us. They just want the tax dollars from making us employees. Basically.
Right. And they want the union dues. That's the other thing, is the upsell to the unions.
It's not for us, it's for them.
Oh, there's nothing about this for us. No. Prop 20 AB5, where they pulled in the gig workers, 85% of gig workers work 20 hours or less a week. And I think a big percentage of that works under 10 hours, to be honest. And out of the 15 who are full-time, only like a fraction of 1% of that even thought, I want to be a union worker. So you have a fraction of a percent, like 0.01 or 0.1, let's say, to be nice, percent that wanted to be, I want to be a union, but they were also lied to too. They went to the airport lots and stuff, the staging lots, and they told these people, hey, however you do this, you're going to be able to do it. And right now under Prop 22, you still can. You can pick up orders from your couch. You'll be able to make money just sitting at home. They really lied about this whole thing. Yeah, they just lied about this whole damn thing.
Well, here's the thing though. And I hate to get back on an AB5 because we've discussed that so many damn times.
Well, but it's going to become.
I know, but it's just one of those things. Like the people that are pushing, for legislative work, and the people going against it. None of them damn people do gig work.
Yeah,
none of them. Who in the hell is electing them to fight for my independence? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't ask any of the unions to step up. I've never seen anything go across saying, hey, do you want us to help you do this? No, stay the hell out of my business. If I have a problem, I'll just quit working the gigs.
But that's part of the problem, was that the unions can't bring in any money anymore. And so they got like a mule horse, Lorena Gonzalez, to like kick this thing through and like sleep with Gavin Newsom or whatever she did to pull this off.
And Senator Warren.
I just find it really interesting. I just find it really interesting that we talk so much about like independent contractors, but like 10 years ago, this was barely even a thought. And now we've evolved into, what's an independent contractor? Who gets paid, who doesn't get paid? Is it, unionized, not unionized? It's just amazing to me how we've evolved. At 10 years ago, this wouldn't have even been a conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, because before, self-employed independent contractor was, there wasn't an ABC test. They brought this real junk test into this. There used to be the Barella test, which was one that was passable to see if you were an independent contractor. But if you have the Barella in place today, all of us could be independent contractors by answering it. But the ABC test locks it up so that nobody can. That's where the mess comes in. So the AB5 stuff is in the Constitution. Then they make this stupid law based on a Dynamex decision for truckers in California years ago. And they just decided if you can't pass A, B, and C, you're not an independent contractor. Well, B is the one. B, you can't pass B. B says that that the company has to do different things than it's contracting you out to do as its primary mission or goal. Or so basically, like let's use rideshare. Rideshare can't use rideshare drivers because their primary business is rideshare.
Or the trucking industry. But why were they allowed to walk it back for truckers?
Delivery can't use delivery drivers because their main business is delivery. I mean, find me a way that we're going to be able to pass a test like that, and I'd love to discuss this.
I feel like it's a lot of people making a lot of decisions, not knowing what we as gig workers go through daily. I feel like a lot of decision making is being made out of unionization and generalization of thinking that they know what we need and not really understanding what we really need.
See, I've always said that, not just for gig work or anything. If you want to know if you're mistreated or mistreating employees from a CEO position down, go to your lowest paid position in the company and do it and see if you are happy. Right. If you're not happy,
they don't actually care.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they don't care to do that. That's the problem.
I did get an email last week, I think it was, from Shipt. I guess they got a new CEO for Shipt, and in his first 90 days, he actually worked as a shopper for Shipt because he really wanted to understand all levels of Shipt so he knew how to operate it properly, which I thought was very fascinating.
Well, it'd be really cool if he was a senator or got into the government for us.
Or if we could read his mind and see what he was really thinking when he said that. That's what I would like to know.
This job does suck, dude.
Wait. How many proof readers did he have to send that to and get edited back and forth?
That is pretty cool, though. I do have respect for that.
I mean, Hannibal, what's your view on let's put all the gig stuff to the side for a minute. Let's put any state to the side. But what's your view on, in this country, our right to be an independent contractor?
Well, it kind of, in America, you assume that they want us to get to a point, or at least many of us to get to a point where we want to open or run some sort of business, right? To expand our incomes, to have more control. Not everybody, but at least have that segment of our community to be able to do that freely. They like to, even like DoorDash and a lot of these other companies, they like to say we support local business, right? But their actions actions show different. So I just think, especially with how accessible these apps are, and again, we're just a small amount of gig workers who come and talk and really understand what it means to be independent. But there's many people who want this job to be a W-2-ish job. They want everything. They want the cake and eat it too. They want to be able to log in when they want and still get paid as if they're an employee or an active time, like what happens in Prop 22, where they use words like, I'm going to milk the clock. I'm going to stay on active time. Now, any true independent contractor note that about making money is not necessarily about milking the clock. It's getting things done. It's not as fast as possible, but you want to get the job done as efficiently as possible. You're not there to wait until you make some money by standing around with active time. But I think a lot of people want that. They want it to be as close to W-2 as possible, but able to log in and out when they feel like it. And that's how I think it's more people who feel that way than how we feel, that we want to be independent at all times. And take the good and the bad. Many of us want everything, and these politicians are trying to appease. But again, they don't do the jobs. They don't know what They don't even know what they're talking about. But that's politics in general. Making decisions on things they have no real previous experience doing. Right. Most of these people who putting these laws in place never ran a business. Some of them never had a real job. Their whole job has been in politics, president, right? Like they never had a job before. So it doesn't look good. I'll just say that for us independent contractors in the future, especially how things are going economically, it's not a good look. Because the more things get tighter, the more people complain and want more protections. And that's when the laws and the more restrictions are going to come in. So it's kind of a sad topic to talk about. Like you said, like it's because it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. It's going to erode. I think it's going to get worse and worse.
I think that, I think you kind of hit on it, man, is that bottom line too, is that you got to remember everybody's like kind of showcasing. They're running around the country showcasing. Well, look at California, look at the gig workers. And that's why, from all the people I've talked about, that's why Prop 22 is still a thing, because they're able to use this showcase of like, look at this. They're all able to make minimum wage plus tips, and it's just going perfectly. But they're not going to be able to do it for long. So they got to pitch all these states real quick before they yank that rug out from California and make them all union workers. Because if right now everybody in the gig economy in California was a union worker, you tell me how many states would sign up for that program.
Yeah,
because you would watch it collapse.
Because California has, what's their GDP? Like trillions of dollars. Like, and if it doesn't work there, then how that's going to work in, I don't know, name a state. Like, or if it, like, how's it going to work in, I don't know, Wyoming, but it's not working in California with trillions of dollars in the GDP, tons of money there, and it's still not working. Doesn't seem like
California is absolutely the biggest GDP in the country. So
hasn't one of the companies said too that it would be a death sentence for them? I think.
Yeah, I don't Instacart not too long ago threatened to leave. I was like, do it. like do this. And I hate Instacart, but I was gonna make them my favorite app ever. I was gonna give them free promotions if they left.
What were you gonna say, Kim? Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I just wish they would fight for, I hate to say, the small things that as independent contractors with a lot of these companies we're looking for. Transparency on our trips, a better base pay than $2.75. Like, fight for the things that are worth it to drivers, opposed to the things that as drivers hurt us, not help us.
Yeah. But I just hate that they're using this example that they know doesn't work. They're like, look how good it's working. And it's like all of these companies are failing. They're all losing their tails in California.
They weren't even profitable before, supposedly. So
I know. I'm literally waiting for one of them just to. I mean, Uber and Lyft weren't kidding when they said we're going to get Proposition 22 on the bill, and then the state of California saying, "Well, you got to pay your AB5 debt." It's been 2 months now that it's been in effect, and they're like, "No." They're like, till we get a vote on this, we're not paying any of that junk.
I feel like it would be Instacart to go down first. I don't know.
Well, Instacart's doing that. Well, because the example I use is San Francisco. So San Francisco is $20 an hour, so it's 19 something for minimum wage. You got to pay 120%, so that's 24 an hour. And I've said it before. Why not just put in the damn Instacart app, instead of putting $7 base pay per order that takes you an hour, just put $24 an hour. It's like you can take the acceptance rate out, and you can take out that base pay in California because it doesn't matter anymore. It's now based on active hours. And for active hours, you're going to get 120% of minimum wage.
In order for it to mean
why even have why have $3 DoorDash base pay? Because if you do 2 in an hour, that's 6. That still means DoorDash needs to kick in 18 for every hour you work.
I feel like in order for it to mean something, like a big gun has to back out of California, or make a stance behind it in order for it to kind of punch you in the gut with this happening. Like they
I feel like they're
an Uber. They need like a big gun that's gonna impact the bottom line, and then there might be slight chance might be something that would happen.
I feel like most of them are waiting for those robot boxes they're just having wheeling around to actually work, and then they'll just fire everyone in California and be like, "Piece of shit. We got our robot boxes now that fall over on the curb."
I had a video. I should have brought it. Have you guys seen the video about the homeless guy that got in a fight with one?
No, but I want to see that.
Who won the
Please.
fight?
That description is
Well,
all I need.
he threw it into the river.
No. What a boss.
He had it. He kicked it down a hill and he threw it into the river.
I have to see that. That's incredible.
No, my hope is it had somebody's food in it, so they're GPS tracking this thing going down the river. Like, where's our food going so fast?
What the hell?
Oh wait, is that my food in the river? Where did my food go?
Take a picture.
I mean, the funniest thing about that is that was it Grubhub? Grubhub is bringing actually Grubhub is in cahoots with Cartken. And Cartken is supposedly supposed to redefine college campus for Ohio State University. And if you guys are familiar, Ohio State University is a Big Ten school. It's a huge school. I mean, it's a huge school. And they're gonna supposedly Ohio State University is gonna use this Cartken and Grubhub, and they're gonna solve all of their delivery issues to the dorms. This is their thought. Now, I saw the Cartkens. They're dumber than the trash cans in California. They actually look like moving coolers. They're more square. They're like rectangle. They look like a cooler. It looks like a cooler you'd take to the beach or something. It's got like stroller wheels on it that are made of plastic. I mean, just junk. It's got an orange flag for when it crosses the road. First of all, drunk college kids are going to beat the crap out of these things, steal the food.
I was going to say, are college kids going to think there's alcohol in them?
Well, even that, they're going to break one and take a picture with it, selfies, and like kick it over into the road.
Oh yeah, they do that.
Throw it out the dorm room window.
The line scooters and all that.
Why, Cartken?
Steve, can I ask you a question? Steve?
Yeah.
Do you have a thing against robots? I feel like we talked about robots and autonomous for quite a while, and I feel like it's that movie iRobot from that guy who slapped the other guy. You remember that movie? And he really didn't like robots, but I think it was like for legit reason because
like it saved him instead of this little girl.
What happened in your life where you didn't trust the robot anymore, or like what happened?
Show us on this doll where the robot hurt you.
I think they're going too far. I think they're going too fast, too quickly, and it's like autonomous. It's not well tested enough to be doing this stuff.
Yeah,
not in a live environment. Test all you want, but don't kill people. No. Don't put trash cans out that the homeless are going to throw into rivers.
Yeah, it didn't even.
Don't tempt people to do things that they're gonna do. They're gonna do these things. They're gonna. First of all, if you go up to any one of the companies, they'd probably lie. But if you got them to say the truth, hey, does this work correctly? If you got an honest answer, it'd be no. We're still figuring all that out. No, it does not. We have a lot of problems with them.
Yeah. We just now got to where you can walk into Little Caesars, enter your code, and grab your own pizza. Seriously?
Well, that blew my mind. That thing was so cool. That was amazing.
Too bad it's Little Caesars.
Yeah, that's the only bad part.
Getting that pizza.
Payouts aren't usually great, but the pickup is just so easy. Boop, boop, boop. Pizza pops out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Every time we talk about robots, autonomous, anything that Steve's like,
Lambda.
I'm gonna find a way to start loving robots.
He's like, I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna shoot it.
I don't think we should love robots.
We could have a robot that could save lives, and Steve like comes down my street.
Whoa. See, no, that's the kind of stuff I am for. I am for the technology of AI robotics that can do surgeries that human hand has trouble doing. I am for that kind of stuff that can be done. I am not for just going, hey, have you seen this plastic cup I got at Home Depot for 99 cents? I'm going to put it on the top of a car and call it a LiDAR. Glue it with Gorilla Glue and then just go, you know what? It's fine, dude. Just send it out. Here, give me the remote. Hey, can I have a beer?
It's beta. We'll just call it beta.
Like, no. What's that? A person? I don't know. Just hit it. Okay.
You know what's funny about that? Not that the car hit a person. I was driving down the road one day, and should I say my car was driving down the road one day, and I was texting, and the wife, she said something about washed her out. I was like, I'm a great driver, and I was like, doo-doo. I was like, what was that?
What was that?
What was it?
I don't know. It wasn't a person or anything. It's like a bump in the road or something like that. It definitely
don't worry about it.
It definitely was not a person.
It might have been a person.
But it's just one of those things that you're trying to prove a point right then, and then something instantly happens. I'm like, well, shit, I better put down my phone.
Yeah.
There goes the squirrel.
It is. I understand. I get what you're saying. I think either the people who are developing this are way too overconfident. I wouldn't say they're incompetent, but they're too overconfident, perhaps, or they're desperate to get this to be tested in the real world environment. They don't want to put it in an obstacle course in a parking lot somewhere.
Well, I think it's the companies, not the companies want to push it, not the developer. Because there's some developer back there that's loud at like me, like we can't send that out. Yeah, and then some supervisor's like, yeah, it's fine. Don't listen to Gary.
Yeah, well then they just get fired, like the dude at Google. Yeah. Like Chris was just mentioning Lambda.
Yeah.
Right. And then they come into Gary and they say, hey, are we not paying you enough? I thought we told you to shut up. Here's another 50 grand. Are you gonna shut up? No, I'm gonna here's another 50. You gonna shut up? No. Okay, you're fired, dude. We'll get somebody who will. I mean, they just want people in there who will say that their program works. If you get honest answers, the program doesn't work. Nothing works, and they're live testing.
I don't understand that because, I mean, these people, like, they must hate their jobs or something like that. Because if Tesla came to me and like, Gary, you want to work on our autonomous vehicles? I can guarantee you 16 hours a day minimum, I will be there working on it, and it won't even feel like work to me. Like I will have that thing drifting around that track.
But if they're like, "Hey Gary, did you get everything squared away and fixed? Are we safe to put them on the road?" And you're like, "No, dude, it's like a 50-50 shot." And they're like, "Well, we need your signature right here that it's safe to put them on the road. We're going to do it anyway."
Oh, no, I would still say no, but of course,
right? That's when it becomes. Yeah. Wait a minute,
right? But that's when that's what I'm saying. But like to me though, as a developer, like if these guys, and the problem I think is they hire people for money, not passion. And I think that's a lot of the issue with any type of developers is because there's people that work at Google to make $500,000 a year. They hate their damn job.
Right.
Money ain't going to buy you happiness in a job. It's just going to buy you a nice condo or beach house or whatever, And so I think if they would actually start taking like some of these college kids that develop their own robots, things like that, if they would take them kids that have a passion for that stuff and even pay them a fraction of what they're paying these senior devs, they would have a much better project. Because like I said, whenever I sit down and code, if it's something I'm really into, I mean, it's like sitting down to play a video game. You look down, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna code for a couple hours. And next thing you're like, where'd 12 hours ago?
It is fun though. It is fun.
So to take us out of this evil dark hole that I warned everybody we would go down.
I like it.
It's interesting to me. You hate robots, we know that, but
I don't hate the robots though. I hate the robot apocalypse that's coming.
You hate more, Instacart or the robots? Like, if you had to pick one that you hate the most, what would it be?
Wait, if I had to pick one that would be nuclear bombed,
you hate more?
Literally robots, go up autonomous? Into space.
Yeah.
The credit bureau.
I would. I guess I would say.
Oh, damn it!
Edible.
His power went out.
See, he said the wrong thing, and the robots are listening.
See, robots are listening.
This is what you get for talking trash. Now your shit's going out.
They're spying on you, Hannibal. They're spying on you.
playing around.
Get
I
your-
guess
So
I would,
what-
I guess I would have to
Page up.
say, I guess I would have to say autonomous, because if I said Instacart, another Instacart would just take its place.
That's
Another Instacart.
Shift is ready. Shift is ready to take over the game as soon as Instacart
They're
leaves.
like the mafia now. Like,
Yes.
well, if we whack one, somebody
I
else
feel
just
like they
steps in.
are like gangs. They are the DoorDash, the Uber Eats.
But I want to have a last question that I asked Lou and Marion, and we got a little the other night. It got a little interesting. So I only used the ones that they use, which are Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Shipped. But we can use any you want. So just without doing each of these, just listen to these points that I make, and then let's grade some of these apps. Okay, so earning potential,
One.
app performance, transparency, customer appreciation, aka tips, company ethics, oversaturation control, and overall driver experience.
Oh,
Yeah, they all
Does,
get one.
does
Yeah,
any
guess
com-
what?
does,
Yeah,
first of all, does
yeah.
any
No,
does any
makes
company
sense.
get an A? Is there any company out there that gets an A?
no.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, was transparency in there?
Yep.
Transparency.
Yeah. Then Spark. That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Well, I can say Curry, but I'm saying all of them: earning potential, app performance,
Curry, yeah.
transparency, customer appreciation, company ethics, oversaturation control, and overall driver experience. I mean, for the big ones: Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Shipt, Lyft, Uber.
Poop.
F.
But okay,
All
then
of
who
them.
gets the best score? Who gets the worst? And what is the best score? Like as a
To me,
grade?
Spark-
We're
for me,
teachers. We have to
Spark gets the
give them
best-
letter grades.
I say
I'd
to me, Spark gets the best score, at least in my area.
Because Lou gave out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that they did, Lou gave out 2 F minuses.
Oh my gosh.
And it was weird. He gave I think it was DoorDash. Was it DoorDash got an F minus? And Grubhub got an F minus. Instacart got a C from him. Uber Eats got the best grade that he put out. He said B minus on Uber Eats, which kind of surprised me. But I have heard a little better things. But lately,
yeah, it depends on where you are.
So are we saying that there's no company out there doing better than a B minus, and that
I mean,
most of them don't
Amazon
even
Flex
get
has
that?
always like shown me Flex, to be honest. That's probably my favorite one. It's hard to get orders though sometimes.
I was trying to Google if there's a grade less than F.
Just
That's why I think he was going with the F minus.
Uber
It's
Eats will
not
probably be
truly a
second for
grade,
me.
but it makes a statement. F minus.
But if they are labeled F minus, then how are you able to go out and do it? Like if you're grading these things so low, why are we outside? Right? I'm thinking like,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing with F, it goes from 0 to 59%. So I mean that's a big range. I mean,
yeah.
Like for me, I'm with Kim. I think Spark. The only thing I don't like about Spark is their earnings breakdown is a little confusing after you complete the delivery, because they don't show you the tip for 24 hours later or something like that. So it's a little confusing, and I don't know if anybody can adjust their tip lower. And so I don't know if they actually tell you if they do or not, because there was some that I took, but then like 2 days later, I'm like, wait, there's no way I would have taken one that low. So it's kind of confusing on that. But and then I'm also with Faith. I'm really Amazon. I mean, what they show you is what you get. You never get anything less than that. So if you take something from Amazon and it sucks, well, that's your fault. Period.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the one part about Amazon then is that they wouldn't do well on is earning potential and overall and customer appreciation. Like
well,
tips.
the earning potential on Amazon is really it's really market dependent, because in my market I can do Amazon by itself all day long, hit my goal in probably 6 hours with Amazon. It's like pretty easy to do.
In Massachusetts, when I was looking at them, it always said 2 to 3 hours delivery, and I never saw anything less between $60 to $120 for those slots. So it can be really good depending on it. Always
how
depending
quick you
on your
get it
market.
done. Yeah, it's. I mean, that really is it, right? It's like batch. You got the batch. You got to do it.
Well, I mean, sometimes you show up. Like I've shown up on a $100 batch. Supposed to be 4 hours. I get there, they have 3 packages for me to deliver. It takes me 30 minutes. I mean, it's like you drop off those 3, like done, poop. You know,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's Amazon is great, but like I said, that is very market dependent because some markets just plainly suck, depending on which warehouse you have to pick up from.
Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Texas sucks for everything, though.
But I think that's pretty sad that out of all the, obviously too, like, this can't.
But again,
I hate to say this, but this can't be a California question because this wouldn't apply to California.
But we're comparing. I say we're comparing apples and oranges here because we're comparing food delivery or rideshare to package delivery, which is completely different. Even Spark is completely different than food delivery,
right?
And so it's really, they're all gig apps. Curry's a gig app. Dispatch is a gig app.
Have all these smaller
that's why I had all the
they're
earning potential app performance. Right. Like, and I guess if you're looking at it, it's a little easier for me because I can keep looking at it. But like if you're looking at it, it helps you kind of like go, well, wait a minute, this company sucks at that. Like it's hard to go through one and go, yeah, they're killing it in all of those.
But all of the food apps, all the food apps are going to fail. All the rideshare apps are going to fail because those are purely customer focused. That's exactly how they make their money. Amazon, for example, yes, they're customer focused, but their focus is on getting packages delivered, not fees from the customer. Right. So it's a little different there. Same with Spark. Like Spark charges crazy amount to the customer already on the front end that it doesn't matter. Like I get Sam's Club, I get stuff delivered to me and they charge me $12 every time. That's before tip. $12 every time. So
that's a heavy fee.
That is a very heavy fee. And I asked the driver when they got here, I was like, well, how much did this one pay? And I tipped 10. And so they actually got like 19 or something like that to bring it to me. I was like, well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that none of them get higher. I mean, I don't even know what the highest grade we gave any of them was. So what's the best one?
C?
What's the best grade?
Kim
seems to be loving Spark. Great at Kim.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Spark has, to me, I mean, I don't have Amazon, so I can't really compare it to Amazon, but to me, the earning potential in Spark, to me, kind of puts them above all the other ones that are out there. I mean, I can work 4 to 5 hours and make $40 to $50 an hour just on Spark alone. So for me, just earning potential alone kind of puts Spark above a lot of the other ones that are out there.
Yeah, I would say if I had to grade Spark on A, B, C, or D, I would say probably a B-. Just because they can't take away the tips, and it's kind of confusing on their earnings stuff. But they do have a lot of promotions that always go on. Yeah. So like whenever I first signed up after Kim and Lisa, they're like, hey, you got to do this. The first 2 days, just by doing regular deliveries, I got I think it was a $150 or $200 bonus just for doing 5 deliveries. Ooh. Yeah, I was like, sweet. And their promotions stack on top of each other too.
Yeah.
But
what app are we talking about?
Spark. But isn't this probably the onboarding, or isn't this the honeymoon period still?
No.
Like longevity wise, do you think
they've
this
been
is
around.
The same money? I know, but you think this is gonna be the same money for Spark in a year?
I think Walmart's like Amazon is one of the biggest companies there are out there. I think that they're well organized. I think they have their act together, and I think they're willing to pay drivers in order to achieve what they're trying to achieve. As far as I think they're actually saving money by having drivers do a lot of these batched orders where they would have normally had like carriers actually go into people's houses. I actually think they're saving money by paying drivers well enough to do a lot of the stuff that they're asking them to do.
That's a good point though. And what you're saying, Cameron, the fact that they both are competing with each other very aggressively, right? Like Walmart, multi-billion dollar. I mean, what one of their kids brought a football team, and you got Amazon with the friend. Like those are two companies that seems like to me I'm hearing, and I have Amazon Flex. They still got me in Jersey, and I have to find a way to move to my area, but those two where I don't see a lot of people complain about it as often, even if all those small stuff like there may be some issues with support or how the money is being structured. Those are the two that I've noticed that if you're in a great area, you can continue to do them in a regular, like, as long as you're getting your batches and you're able to make some decent money every day compared to the shopping apps and the food delivery apps. Those are up and down and depends on where you are. But I feel like consistently with the other two, by the richest companies in the world, if you're able to do that and get on, you can make some decent money from those two. Spark and Amazon Flex.
I just looked up. Spark's been around since 2018.
Okay. It's been around a while.
So it's not like it was last year or 2 years ago that they released. So they've been around for a while, and they're still having good payouts and good incentives.
But look at, and this is where I want what I actually didn't know was 2018, but I wanted to bring it back a bit to Jason Thierry. Jason Thierry did Spark when I didn't even know what Spark was, and he lives in a much smaller city than me. And so he's in Grand Rapids, a big city for Michigan, but he was doing Spark. He's like, I love this. 6 months, 8 months later, he's like, I can't make a dime on this damn thing. And that was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Spark had already
has he tried
out.
it now though? That's and we all know that you have to shift apps depending on time of year and things like that. I mean, that's just how you go. If you're going to do this full time, you have to shift around. You can't just stick to one. So there's always better apps. But I feel any package delivery app or curry type app, things like that, are always gonna outperform any of the food or rideshare delivery.
Right. Or even grocery. Even the big guys.
Grocery,
just the big guys. Just the big guys.
And with Walmart being so big, like they're not afraid of growing too fast. I think that's like kind of
trying to grow.
Yeah. They're not afraid of spending money to make money, and I think that's what we're seeing with Spark.
Well, like I said, I think another thing is when people order delivery from Walmart or Sam's Club, that delivery fee is already so hefty that even if they don't tip, it's still a pretty decent payout for the driver. So it's not like the tip on there is just extra money because that money's already charged up front. Unlike whenever you order, if you order $5 worth of McDonald's, you're paying $25 by the time you check out. It's a difference of delivery types.
That was one of the articles I even put in the article that I posted today was the fact of the one, I can't remember who it was, the one person who said that they came out and made did this article on, I'm paying more in delivery fees and tip than I do on the food on every order.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
Yeah. And see, like whenever I order that stuff, I go on the apps all the time. So I'm like, I don't want to go nowhere. So I get in there and then I input my order and I'm like, nope, delete, because I'm not going to pay $40 for a $12 sandwich. I'll go get it. My car is not broke. I just was trying to be lazy.
That's why I was so pissed when Uber did that gas stipulation and made it super public, especially to their customer base, because it was like them saying, we recognize how bad gas is for you guys, but we're going to give you the absolute bare minimum that is actually just a slap in the face. It was 30 cents, I think, per order, not even per mile. It was per order. And you got it the next day. So you'd see $1.30 on your account the next day. And you're like, oh, I'm saved. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
It's
Faith,
ridiculous.
what is the best app in your opinion, and how do you rate it?
I'd still say Amazon Flex.
Okay.
But being in Texas, it sucks butt cheeks. So it definitely depends. It was Amazon Flex for me. Now, honestly, I'd say Uber Eats. But I think I just get better payouts on Uber Eats no matter where I go for some reason. So I think it's just a bias because I get paid the most on there. But Amazon Flex was my favorite, and Shipped. Shipped is.
I don't know. See, if you had my Flex Alert app, you might get better paying orders too.
I know we're gonna be testing those waters.
All these apps I made for these people.
And didn't you hooked Faith up too?
I know, that's what I was saying.
And
I didn't even the second I made that video, awfully the awful thing happened like 2 days after that, and I was gone. So I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to see the beautiful Colorado trees, rivers, lakes.
Yeah.
I just had to come to stinky desert Texas.
Well, you did in the winter.
Yeah, but I wanted to hike. I really wanted to hike out there so bad.
Yeah.
So sad.
Faith has a turtle named Steve, by the way. Her brother does.
Steve almost had to go babysit it. Almost had to save him.
I almost had to go save Steve
the turtle. I know. Did. And Steve was on that. He's like, of course, I can help a fellow brother. I will help. My fellow Steve.
Like, do I have to break in?
It's like, do whatever you have to do to get to that turtle, man.
Now, Hannibal, you don't do food delivery anymore, and you don't have Amazon. So you're probably going to say, what is it, WAG? Is that what you're going to say?
Well, I'm not going to, I mean, it's hard to use those apps because you guys don't, it's hard to explain those. But I can still talk in the context of the food delivery. I would say they're still passing grades. Like, so I wouldn't put F. Like, it's easy to kind of put that there, but if you're still turning on and still collecting orders, then it can't be an F because while you're on it. Like, for me, if I say a failing grade, I wouldn't even use the app. I wouldn't turn it on. So all these apps are worth turning on. I thought the conversation we had yesterday with UDM and Kim, that I asked how many apps you guys turn on when you leave your house. And it was fascinating that some people were like, yeah, I turn on 8. I think what you said, 8 apps. Like,
yeah, I got 8. I ate 8 daily, but I have like 16 total I can use.
I'm 6 to 8, depending on the day that I work and kind of what's going on. But it's usually like 6 to 8.
And UDM, I think he said 6 to 8, but then he had a whole like science to it. He's like, on Monday to Friday, these apps I turn on, and then these certain apps turn on during the morning, and it's he's a scientist with that.
Yeah.
But I would say if we talk about the big ones, I had less stress on Uber Eats than all the other apps. Like just able to deliver the orders. I didn't have that many issues or worried about contract violations or whatever. Like I thought in the very beginning, that's the first app I used, and I thought that was like the best one. In terms of ease of use, right? DoorDash just had the volume. Kim always says just the volume, and I would say 90% of the time I didn't have a problem with DoorDash, right? It's just more of like the contract violations and the other like drama that comes from it.
And the trash
for some reason. But I always felt like Uber Eats was just a more easier app to kind of use. And you could press one button to decline. And even if you were late somehow, it didn't seem to matter, like they're just easier to use, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so, the interface is awesome on Uber Eats, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they've been doing it a little longer, so they kind of figured out a little bit of that stuff out. Uber Eats don't go down as often as DoorDash, at least in my experience. So I would still give them passing grades. Well, C plus. It's better than the W2 that I was doing before. W2,
well, let's just take it to a pass fail then, like an elementary level, like doesn't play well with others.
Emotionally disturbed, so I would still put it as a passing grade, if that makes sense. Passing grade, C plus, because if anything was a D or F, I don't want to see what it would be like with Steve. I wouldn't turn it on. Like, I think you still turn on Instacart, but I wouldn't turn it on if it was just
to laugh though. I'd never ever take him just to laugh.
Just to laugh. Instacart.
If you're feeling down, turn it on, look at some orders, laugh, feel better.
I try and get screenshots when I can, like of how bad they are.
Is Instacart
But
still
then oddly,
taken over
some
by the
guy,
bots?
some idiot grabs the like when I'm like, oh, that's the
Sorry.
worst one I've ever seen. Before I can even get the screenshot, it's gone. I'm like, really?
It's a bot.
Somebody took that.
Well, it's funny, Hannibal, that you brought up UDM and his science, because I was talking to Kim about that before everybody got online here. Like there's like I typically start my day with a certain app, and then I move on to another app, and then like there is a science to it. I mean, there really is, or maybe not a science, but an art to it, I guess, to know your market, know which ones you should be running at which time. If you just wake up and you go online and you're hoping, well, of course you're going to have a terrible payout. I mean, unless your market's just like booming like that, you're going to have a terrible market or terrible payouts.
I agree with Steve. There is a strategy behind at least what I do on a daily basis. I do start on usually a certain app in certain days, but like weekends come and it's, food delivery, but you have to know when your peak times are, when your peak times aren't. Like, what are you working? What are you not working? Like, there is a little bit of a strategy and science behind besides just like throwing them on and go like doing the roulette table. Which one is it going to land on? Oh, that one. No, there is a little bit of strategy behind it.
Or I say, if you're going to do it full time, you definitely got to have a strategy if you're going to do it full time.
My mindset, if I was doing this part time, it would be completely different than what I do full time.
Right. If I was doing this part time, I would probably turn them on just during dinner rush.
Yeah. Well, or lunch, right? I mean, lunch is still big.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most people, if you're doing this part time, you probably work during the day,
right.
and you're doing it at night or weekends or something like that. So that's why I say I would probably get off work. Like when I first started at Uber, I still had a W-2. So, I worked 40 minutes from my house. So I would get off work and I'd turn on Uber and start driving home, pick up people along the way, actual ride share, sharing the ride to get to my destination,
right.
And that's what I did. And I assume that's what other people do that have W-2 jobs now,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And that's what I mean, I know some of the restaurant and service industry here. Like I know people who mostly all they do is really work evenings. That's where all their money comes from. They do this stuff in the day. They make decent in the day too. They just work a couple hours and they do all right with food delivery, Like rideshare in the day can be super dead. You could really not there's not even a hot spot time, morning or night.
And I would bet everybody on the panel probably does exactly like Hannibal. I'm sure you don't just wake up and blow, oh, what dog am I walking today? No, you have stuff planned out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that makes it, when you really putting the effort in doing this properly, when there is a W-2, that you have to plan your day out. I think especially if you have a family, you got kids, and you got so many, you have to plan your day out. Or if you just turn on, that worked 2 years ago when you had nothing to do. Like when I had nothing to do because everything was locked down. Yeah, you turn on but now it's a whole different environment now. So
those are the days.
Definitely
right. We're like, I miss the pandemic.
Money
you say like that.
The orgies were popping though during that time. They were popping. Bro, champagne bottles.
Remember when we didn't have to talk to people? We just threw their food in the dirt.
Amazing, and they thanked you for it. They're like, "Oh, thank you."
I find that weird. Like
on my door.
On Reddit, people are always complaining about that. They're like, "Why are people hand it to me?" Like, what do you mean? They want their food handed to them? Like what? Like
it's a foreign concept at this point. What do you mean? We have to like actually interact with customers?
Right, you got to knock on the door and go, "Hey, here's your food. Have a great day." Like what?
Well, that's all I got for this week, really, guys. We definitely ran over. I love having Faith on here. I'm glad Faith. What do you got going on? Give us a taste of all the things coming out, Faith.
Jeez, I'm just trying to prepare for the economic apocalypse like everyone is. Okay. Everyone else is, I'm
the robot.
I'm trying to sell this beast car and get me a nice Tesla, maybe a Bugatti on the side. Start up a few logo businesses. I'm just try not to have a freaking heat stroke down here in Texas. That's all. That's really all I'm doing. Not too much. But if you want to come check out my channel,
Are you back to gig work though? There?
Oh yeah, I am doing that full time again. Started back up probably like two weeks after I got here.
Okay. So some gigs,
some more
videos from Faith will be coming out.
Yes.
More
gig related videos. I'm definitely back, gig work and YouTube. So very excited to be doing that again. It's great to take my mind off of, everything.
Yeah. And everybody's link is in the show. So
so did you come up with a name for your logo?
I liked my dad's the best.
Your dad was on something, dude. I'm telling you, doesn't matter. He was on to something there.
Dude, I was crying laughing. He could not care less. He was like, please just leave me alone. I'm just trying to eat my Pringles. Not today, Dad. You're helping me out. It doesn't matter. I was like, okay, that's a great name. Thank you. I'll put that directly on my business cards. That sounds great.
Should I make it an S corp or an LLC? It doesn't matter. LLC.
That's exactly. Who cares? I do, Dad. I care.
Well, that's another contender. Who cares? It doesn't matter versus who cares.
That's absolutely
and every app gets a C at best, a D plus to a C. We're probably better off with just pass fail.
Yeah,
like the system even they use for high schoolers now. Nobody left behind, even if you're stupid.
Nobody.
Well, did you guys see the list? Did you see the list of names though that she came up with? Like what? I don't even know where those names came from.
Have you not watched Faith's other videos, dude?
No, I'm talking about this specific video though. It's just
he's always got some really weird, fun stuff in those videos.
My ass. Roasted. I was like, I like them. I like some of my names.
Well, one was like Proton or Proto something.
Proton. It's Proto logo, okay? And that one has the most votes so far, okay? That was the one that got roasted the hardest by my family. It was my favorite.
Everybody's going to be calling her for cancer treatments.
Procto logo.
Yeah. We need chemo. No, I designed logos. Go figure it out. It's not me. Stop calling me for chemo.
That's the name right there. I designed logos.
Yeah. I designed logos. Hey. Pedro had a great one. He just said face logos. I was like, you know what? Straight to the point. We'll do it.
Like buy me dinner.
I'll just put my Cash App right there. Just my Cash App.
Like, what does that have to do with logos? Well,
my second favorite one was dot logos because it sounded like Doritos.
Okay. I was feeling good for a second, and then you said Doritos. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us. It's so funny. I'm at that time of year where I have to turn off all my air conditioning when I'm in here, and it gets hot. Woo! It gets hot in my house, man. It's been really hot here too lately. So, anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us, and Faith, thank you for joining us. Faith is back.
Thank you for having me.
And also, we won't get into detail, but glad to hear everything's better with Faith and her family and all that. I'm glad to hear that everything's on the better track now. Because I remember the day it happened. I was actually I talked to Faith. I think the day it happened. In fact,
I think so too. Yeah. Because I didn't even understand how serious it was until I got here. Because insane. But we're getting better.
We're all happy to see you're back and that things are better. Hopefully you won't have to be in Texas too long. I'm sorry about that.
Oh God, please, I want to get out of here so bad. There's a reason I moved. Okay, there's a reason.
Right. But yeah, have a good night, everybody, and we will see you back. Oh, the next few weeks, I did have it here. Did I do it? Yeah, I did it. Okay, so got Post Malone, Dashing with Ash in Canada, Zach Drives Fast, and Nova Dasher and more. So those are the next 4 weeks. So So those are fun guests. I've never talked to Dashing with Ash in Canada. However, I've seen her in other things and stuff, and so it'd be interesting. I know they're paying like $8 a gallon for gas right now up there. So
yeah, I
we'll
like when
see.
we have people from other countries on.
Yeah. Well, I guess Canada's kind of another country. They're like our partners to the north, but man, they charge a lot of money for gas. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know that's the other thing about Canada. You're like, I've watched some of Ash's like runs. They're long runs. It's not like everything's real close. Like people live really far apart from each other. You know, so we'll see. But looking forward to all that. And yeah, we'll see you guys back here next week. And that one is Post Malone. I'm actually looking forward to that because he's a big Royals fan. I'm a baseball guy too. And we'll have to see because I know Kim's been on his show.
Yeah.
But him and I have been chatting, and it's been mostly baseball that we chat about. I know he's always over at Kauffman Field, and he's a big baseball guy. And I'm like, I'm a Tigers fan. He's like, I'm fine with that. My dad's a Tigers fan. I'm like, okay, I wasn't asking. I was just telling you, but you know. But we're in the same league, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. He seems like a really, really fun guy. So we'll see. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Make sure to subscribe to everybody's channel, including this one. But hit up Faith's too. She's back. So hit up everybody.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, guys.
It was a lot of fun.
Good night. Good night. We'll see you back here next week.